You lied to us, Capcom. You said that the upcoming Resident Evil Village DLC would be free. But it's not. The Winter's Expansion DLC for Resident Evil Village costs €19.99. That's not free, Capcom. I'm going to post an article in the comment section of this video. I am going to put it in the description of this video, and you can read that article for yourself, where Capcom clearly stated in it that the Resident Evil Village DLC would be free. I've seen lots of other people point this out across social media also. So we were promised free DLC from Capcom, and what we got was lies and greed from Capcom, and I'm not surprised in today's modern day gaming. Long gone are the days where a gaming company would release a working, finished game where you would be able to unlock extra content like characters and various game modes by playing through the game. Long gone are those days, and I miss those days. What people have to realize with situations like this is these companies work for us. We pay them. If we don't purchase their games and their DLC, they don't get any money. If a business has no money, then they can't operate anymore. So the only way for us to take a stand against Capcom's lies and greed is to speak with our money by not giving them our money. That is the only way we're going to get change. Believe me. And I have made a decision not to pay for the Winter's Expansion DLC for Resident Evil Village. And I hope others do it as well. Because it's the only way that we're going to see significant change. I believe there is a second video game crash coming. If you don't know what the video game crash was, research it. And I'd say good, because I think it's what the gaming company needs. It needs a good wake-up call. It needs a good kick up the arse. I have not announced that to this video, other than just reminding people that Capcom have lied. They did say, and it's in the article that you will see in the comment section below in the description of this video. Capcom clearly stated that Resident Evil Village DLC would be free, and they very clearly lied, because if you go onto PlayStation Store and the Xbox Store, Steam, whatever, you will clearly see that the Winter's Expansion DLC costs €19.99. That's not free. That is not free. I'm done with the future of Resident Evil on a completely different note, to be honest with you. I kind of had a change of heart, and not for the good, to be honest with you. I was talking about classic Resident Evil last night. Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, the originals. Resident Evil Remake, Resident Evil 0, and Resident Evil Code Veronica. And to be honest with you, man, in my mind, Those are the only Resident Evil games. Resident Evil 4, 5 and 6 are action games. Resident Evil is not an action series. Resident Evil was established as a survival horror series. Resident Evil 7 and Village are just trying to appeal to the Zoomers, to the modern gamers, by introducing first-person view and introducing like cinematic, realistic graphics. When I hear people talk about realism in Resident Evil, it makes me laugh so much. Like they say, "Oh, I prefer Resident Evil 7 and Village because they're realistic." There was nothing realistic about a video game. There was nothing realistic about a video game series that's about giant eyeballs growing out of people's shoulders. It's not a realistic series, for God's sake. And one thing also that I want to focus on. Now, I don't mean to offend anyone when I say this. I actually can't see how it would offend anyone, to be honest. But I've also noticed that in Resident Evil 7, Capcom have feminized the series. If you stop and think about it, okay, Lady D, her 3 daughters, Mother Miranda, Rose, the DLC, Rose. Everything is so feminized. Yes, I know that Jill Valentine and Claire Redfield were the main characters of Resident Evil 1 and 2, but my point still stands. Now that's kind of beside the point, but what said about action still stands. And what I said about, you know, the whole like first person view of 7 and Village, and so the whole like realistic graphics and realistic settings, and like, everything is so cinematic, you know, all of that still stands. What you're looking at right now, that's Resident Evil. That's Resident Evil. So I am actually making a decision that I am done with the future of Resident Evil. So there's kind of 2 situations here, really. I mean, there's a situation that Capcom have lied to us about the Resident Evil Village DLC. They said it was going to be free. Again, that's in the article. You can find that in the comment section below or in the description of this video. That's the first issue. You know, they clearly lied to us. And that's unfortunately very common in today's world of gaming. Lies. You know, there used to be a time, as I mentioned, where we would get a finished working game from a gaming company, and as we play through the game, we would unlock more content like characters, various modes and stuff like that. Now, we have rushed, broken, incomplete games that cost €80 at launch, and then we're asked to pay €20 for DLC, which was originally promised as free DLC. That's what we get now. So that's the first issue. The second issue is just me realizing that I don't want to be part of the future of Resident Evil anymore. I don't want to be playing Resident Evil in 2036 as some Stranger Things character, you know, that goes by the name of Rose Winters. You know, that's not the Resident Evil for me. I think the seed was planted when I actually had a good think about the Mega mindset. Resident Evil has always been a sci-fi series. It's always been sci-fi horror. It's always been the Umbrella Corporation and their crazy scientific experiments and giant eyeballs coming out of people's shoulders, as I mentioned. But to a certain extent, I could kind of understand how these crazy biological weapons were created, you know, through various viruses and parasites. It kind of made sense because the T virus altered a living organism's DNA. So that's why we see mutations, grotesque mutations. It makes sense. Parasites, you know, in Resident Evil 4, the last plagas, you know, it makes sense because the parasite has infected the host's brain and nervous system. So that makes sense. But this mega mindset that looks like a giant fetus that somehow stores the consciousness of everyone that lived in this village, even though they're dead. I mean, I can't quite wrap my head around that one. That's just a bit too extreme for Resident Evil, to be quite honest with you. And again, just a first person, perspective. I mean, look, I don't hate it, but it's still not quite Resident Evil when you stop and think about it. Again, I've had a change of heart. And I'm just not a fan of all this like cinematic kind of like, storytelling with it now. And it's very clear if you look at the people that are playing Resident Evil right now, like young people playing it, you can clearly see the kind of market, that Capcom is clearly aiming at. With the future of Resident Evil, and I'm not going to be any part of it. I mean, as far as the lore is concerned, the lore of Resident Evil, I'll just watch YouTube videos. I'll just watch YouTube videos. As far as a Resident Evil gamer, I'll just go back and play the classic Resident Evil games. I'm pretty sure that Capcom is going to release the original Resident Evil games on PlayStation 1 through the PlayStation Plus Premium service anyway. So, I mean, I'll get my fix of classic Resident Evil games, and I'll be happy enough for that. So, what more can I add to this video? Let me know what you think about Capcom lying. Do you agree with them lying? Do you agree with that? How do you feel about that? How do you feel about modern gaming compared to OG gaming, retro gaming? How do you feel about companies now releasing, broken, unfinished games at like €70, promising free DLC and then saying it's €20, as opposed to the days where a gaming company would release a working, finished product where you would actually be able to unlock content by playing through the game. How do you feel about that? Everything was on the disc, everything was actually on the disc, everything was on the cartridge back in the day. But yeah, I'm just trying to think, there's nothing else I can add to it. Capcom lied about the Resident Evil Village DLC. They said it was going to be free. It's actually €20. I'm done with modern Resident Evil. I don't want to be anywhere near modern Resident Evil. As far as I'm concerned, the only Resident Evil games that exist in my head are Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 originals, Resident Evil Code Veronica, Resident Evil 0, and Resident Evil Remake. Anything after that, I don't care. I mean, the lore is there, yeah, in 4 and 5 and 6, 7 and Village, but I mean, can I just say one thing as well, actually, before I round up, before I finish the video? A lot of people hate Paul Anderson's Resident Evil movies because of Alice. Who's Alice? What has she got to do with the Resident Evil series? Who's Ethan Winters? Resident Evil 1, main character, Chris Redfield, Jill Valentine, and other stars members. Resident Evil 2 continues from that story because you've got Chris Redfield's brother, Claire Redfield, who arrives in Raccoon City looking for her missing brother. Resident Evil 3, Jill Valentine is back, again in Raccoon City, Stars is back. Resident Evil 4, Leon is back. He refers to the Raccoon City incident, the folding of the Umbrella Corporation. Wesker is back, Ada Wong is back. Resident Evil 5, Chris Redfield is back. One final confrontation with Albert Wesker. Everything gets tied up. Everything he did to Stars, his betrayal of Stars, personal vendetta between himself and Chris Redfield, is showcased. Even Resident Evil 6, they bring back every character. Leon, Chris, even Sherry Birkin is back, Ada is back. And then Resident Evil 7, Ethan Winters. Who the fuck is Ethan Winters? What has he got to do with Resident Evil? Resident Evil Village, Rose Winters DLC. So I would say, what the hell has Ethan Winters got to do with Resident Evil? So with that, I'm done with the future of Resident Evil. I'm done with being lied to. Again, these companies work for us. We pay Capcom. Capcom work for us. I'm not supporting this. I'm not giving them my money. I'm done. I'm done with being lied to by companies. I'm not going to be lied to anymore by companies. If you feel the same way, speak with your money. Don't give them your money. Simple as that. Thank you for watching the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Again, read an article about Capcom promising free DLC. Thank you for watching. See you next time.